Recording in progress.
This is an example of some of our basic services, especially for non-staff nonprofits, in terms of what is the minimum that you should have in place in order to go after our grants. And again, these services for non-staff organizations that's getting started, and those organizations that are nonprofits that are looking at going after grants. This is only related to basic service. We also provide more advanced programs related to nonprofits. The first important document that a nonprofit should have is this corporate document. So this service includes the creating policies and procedures for the board of directors, your financial management plan, your employee management book, and your affirmation document, as well as conflict of interest. While we only charge $150, that's a fraction of the cost that it will be in order to produce these documents. Most of these documents consist of at least 15, 20 pages. Let's take a look at some of these documents, and then we'll come back over to the second service that we provide, which is known as
Recording in progress.
Policies and procedures related to accounting and financial management. This is one of the key documents that you want to have in order to show the funders that you have a policies and procedures as to how money and donations are handled in your organization. So this would be an example. It will give a breakdown on how money is handled in your organization. We're talking about a document that's 34 pages long. And I'm not going to go through all 34 pages. Even when it comes to depositing cash, it talks about how do you prepare the statement, the bank statement. And when money has to be left in the building, the importance of contacting the executive director to let them know the cash is left in the office overnight. So this is an example of the financial management packet that we will put together. This is probably 34 pages long. Let's look at the next document. The next document, and we're going to tailor this towards your organization, is board policies and procedures. As you see, it gives a breakdown of the core functions of the board. It gets really in depth in terms of the board of directors, its role. This document is 27 pages long. All of the documents that we're talking about related to preparing for your infrastructure are really in-depth policies and procedures. Let's look at the next policies and procedures that's considered part of the package. So this document is going to be the employees' handbook or policies and procedures. As you can see, we're talking about 39 pages. looking over here. And as you can see, it's an in-depth manual that we put together for the organization. All of these documents are about building infrastructure as you go for getting people's money to show that you have the infrastructure necessary to manage the money, manage the program. Let's look at the final document. Final document is your affirmation, your affirmation, or in other words, your equal opportunity policies. This is important, especially when you're going after federal grants. This is a one-page document that's also included in the packet that we talked about. This is an example of a logic model slash program design. And we create this model to fit uniquely for your organization. A logic model is important because it shows the funder how the program works, how it plans to bring about the change that it posed to bring about. It talks about the inputs, the outputs, and the outcome, the assumptions, and the external factors involved in putting together this type of document.
Recording in progress.
The program design and logic model we talked about. The next service that we want to provide is called a SWOT. The SWOT is the organization strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This analogy would be look at your organization from the top to the top, from top to bottom and bottom to top. Then the next service is working with your organization once you have all these documents together to put together three small grants. These grants are normally about $1,000, and these are for small grants. The last component is the grant writing course, which is normally this class will be going for $850, but for your new and startup nonprofits, we give them a bonus. When I say new and startup nonprofit, I mean those nonprofits that have no staff and are looking at putting together staff. The grant writing class is an in-depth course, which is anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks long. And it teaches different aspects of putting together grants. Now, in addition to being able to write bigger grants than the smaller grants that we talked about earlier, you can use this service as a side hustle, and that you can write grants for other folks. And that'll be another way of bringing side money to your organization, in addition to you being able to write grants for your organization. Because the reality is that 8 out of 10 people that go for a grant will get a no answer. That means that in order to get a grant, it's the number of grants that you write that get you the grant. And that's what we teach and prepare you for in these basic services.